Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dark Bull Algo, and thanks for joining me on another weekend watchlist building session. Oh man, today we've got our top 5 stocks for this week. We actually found 5. Yes, it's gonna be a very interesting week. I think we've got some bullish moves coming up. So, with that being said, if you're new to the stream, thanks for the stream. If you're new to the channel, thanks for joining. If you take a second, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. That'll let you know anytime we put out a new video. We're going to jump into a real quick intro, and then we've got our top 5 stocks. So, see you in a moment. All right, hey, welcome back. So, what we do is we look for divergences in the flow index. And what that does is it helps us identify plays and options plays that are going to make a greater than expected move in the upcoming week. Typically, we like to trade weekly options, and we've been doing pretty good lately. We use a couple different tools. One is the FLOWTRADE, flow index indicator, and that's the chart that you see in front of you now. It's the smart money, dark pool, block trade algorithm software. Tracks large institutions, hedge funds, smart money, dark pools, and block trades. It created a flow index algorithm, and what it does is it looks for what smart money is doing. So, for example, let's look at snow. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put up our watch list real quick. So we're going to look at snow, Amazon. What else we got this week? ATVI, which is Activision, right? Game maker, and Adobe. And we've got one more, which is Uber. So looking at these charts, what you see is this purple line. That is the regular algorithm. The white bars are price action. And what we look for is that divergence where smart money is buying into a stock as it's coming down, right? What that does is it creates a very bullish divergence because the price action will follow the algorithm, meaning that if they diverge like they did here, right, that divergence must play out. So price action will rise up to meet the algorithm. Okay. That's just a real quick intro. I will try to mark up my charts using some color schemes so that it's really easy for everybody to see and understand what's going on. Okay. So looking at snow right now, what we've got is we've got the algorithm has been net buying for quite a while now. Previous divergences have all played out. For example, this divergence here at this level here, if you see that price started going up while the algo was starting to rise with it, once, right, it was just the algo was consolidating. Once the algo started to increase, price action was coming down, that divergence has played out. So currently the algo is making higher highs and higher lows, which is what we like to see, which means that smart money is still investing in the stock, right? They're still buying into it, and price action has found a little bit of a bottom, currently forming a little bit of a wedge here. So what we would like to see is that wedge breakout, right? We'd like to start getting in off of some key levels of support here, breaking out above this overhead resistance, and then obviously targeting previous highs as our target zone. So looking at snow, wedge breakout is forming. We'd like to target previous highs. So the 305, 310 psychological, and then all the way up here, probably about that 316. So we'd probably look at the 315s for this week, because way back here at 312, we've got previous support. So that will be resistance on the way up. As far as block trades are concerned, snow's got quite a few block trades. This is the last 30 days. I really only like to look like the last 10. And we have quite a few things going on here. We've got some dark bull levels here that you can see. At 303.61, we've got another dark bull level that should provide support at 296.87, right? And then a dark bull level way up here at 332. That could be a pretty decent upside target. However, I like to take profits on the way up. If you wanted to swing this for a couple weeks out, really working on that divergence that occurred at approximately probably here. I think 330, 332 might be a little bit of a reach, especially with how choppy the markets have been. So I think the 310, 315, 320s Moving on to look at some charts real quick. All right, snow on the charts. Let me just do this. Let me get all my charts up here. All the goodies. We like the goodies. All right. And finally, this bad boy here. Oh. All right. Looking at the daily chart, snow has about a $23 ATR, which means it moves approximately $23 a day. Currently, the Squeeze Pro histogram is negative, but it looks like it might be turning the corner here, so we may be a day or two early. But what I did like about the stock is it's trading at -1 ATR, and it's also held the 200 SMA on the daily. We'd like that stock to rally back to at least the 21 EMA, which is at that 335, 336 level, taking profit at previous lows on the way back up. Let this squeeze kind of slingshot around. So if, let's say, this is where we are, right? We'd like the histogram to become neutral and increasing, and some of these squeezes to build and release, giving us an explosive move to the upside. Looking at the daily chart, what I do like is we have green 10x bars. We held the 200 SMA on the daily. The ready aim fire is starting to curl around, so is the Squeeze Pro. We do have negatively stacked moving averages, which is typically bearish. That 200 SMA is pretty significant support, right? Also previous lows. So rallying to the 21, which is that 332 level, is the initial move. I think we might be able to get it. Point of controls coming in at 343. Bringing it down to Keltner channel support resistance. We're currently trading off of the 200, off of the 4-hour bottom, and the daily bottom. So if we can make a rally to the 4-hour mid, which is the 21 EMA on the 4-hour, previous low at 310, that's first target. Above that, we move up to the 4-hour top at 325. Wedge breakouts, like lots of consolidation, lots of pressure. Contrarian, if we reject, right, we start rejecting some of these previous highs, we're going to make a trip back down to the 4-hour bottom, below the 4-hour bottom at 290. We test the 200 SMA again. Okay, so there's an upside and a downside. Why didn't this pull up? What do we got going here? Come on. It says it's Google. What is it? Snow? Is it Google? What is it? Let's just trade it out for a second. There we go. All right. Currently holding VWAP, holding point of control. This is the 2-hour chart. We have a previous demand zone. It's now a supply zone up overhead at 310 to 320. That's a rally to the 50 SMA on the 2-hour chart and the 2-hour cloud. So if we can continue to make higher lows and higher highs, we can melt up to our profit targets. This is a good example of the slingshot squeeze getting ready to release. And whenever that squeeze releases, we can have 8 to 10 periods from when that squeeze released. For example, if it released on the 2-hour, we would have 8 to 10 2-hour periods of that squeeze firing long or short, depending on which way it goes. Okay. Moving on to the next one is Amazon. Amazon. So Amazon's been selling off, a little bit of a triple bottom here. The algo has found support and is trying to make higher lows and higher highs. I know it's very subtle, but this is actually a higher high, right? Coming off of key level support, and price action is made kind of a little bit of a triple bottom there, looking for a wedge breakout. We'd like the algo to continue to pull price action up with it. We have a longer term previous low, which acted as resistance when we hit it last time. So we're going to try to target the 3,300, and then previous lows on the way back up, 3,300, 3,330, and approximately probably 3,350. Nice little round, or excuse me, psychological number there, 3,350. So looking at Amazon, last 10 days, we do have a dark pool level right at 3265. That's been resistance. If we get above that, we're going to target this regular block trade at 3287 as target one. And then there's a cluster of dark pool levels at 3305 and 3308, which is our obviously 3300 target level. Above that, dark pull level at 33.3550. Nice round psychological number. And if we get back into previous range, the 32.50, the 32.67 range, I think that'd be super successful. That would be a pretty big move for Amazon for this week. Amazon is trading below the 200, below the 50, and about 1.5 standard deviations away from the mean. Earnings is coming up at the beginning of next month. So Amazon moves about $80 a day. Okay, so it's a big mover. Now, we have to look at the downside. So it did come back down and it tested previous support at 32.41, right? There's a doji way back here where it was kind of indecision. Now, do we bounce from this level and continue back to the upside, or do we continue to fall down to previous support? So we'll look at the intraday charts, and if it can't get back up over some key levels of Keltner channels and other support levels, the downside target would be these previous lows. So downside at 31.7644 is the downside target, with 32.40 not providing support. So if it breaks 32.40, we're going to look target the 31.76. If it can get back above 32.73, then we'll look at a reversion to, point of control and the 21-day simple moving average at 33.75. Another look at Amazon here. So pretty bearish looking, right? Negatively stacked moving averages below the 200, below the 50 on the daily cloud way up here, but we did pull back to support. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a broadening channel. Hold on one second. All right. So we're at a key level of support, and that's why, we've got the risk to the downside is the 3200 psychological level, right? There's obviously a lot more upside potential. Keep in mind, though, if some of these squeezes do start firing off to the downside, we have to be able to play the move down and then back up. So either this week or next, we may see a reversion on Amazon. All right. So the reason I'm looking at this also is we're currently at the daily 4-hour Keltner channel bottom. We made our transition from the top to the mid to the bottom, right? We came in from the 4-hour top to the mid to the bottom. So do we continue to hold the daily Keltner channel, right? If that breaks, which is the 32.17 level, if that breaks, we come back down to the weekly top or weekly bottom, right? At 31.60. So it's going to either be a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 downside move on Amazon, right? Or we can get a reversal here and move back up to the upside. So Amazon's the only one I'm a little skittish on right now, that it could potentially pull back to, below 32, sub 3200. If that happens, then we've got a pretty good rebound play in the next couple of weeks, or probably run into earnings. It really does depend on what happens with it this week. So let's just keep an eye on it. All right. Double bottom is one of the only bullish factors and possible slingshot squeeze happening. Okay. Point of control, VWAP, like we're in a good reversal area. We're also on a good possible downside move. Okay, moving on to Activision Blizzard, ATVI. ATVI is a game manufacturing company. They build games like Red Dead Redemption, and they are one of, sorry about that. I have not played the stock, but from what I can see, this is super bullish divergence, right? The algo has been net buying for several weeks now. We do have divergence that has occurred approximately at the 65.15 level, right? We've formed a nice little rising, right? Higher lows and nice little wedge. So we're trying to do that wedge breakout from higher lows, higher highs. If you look to your left, you would see you've got previous support here. So there's a trading channel that we're currently in. We're using the top of that old channel as support. Last time we broke through that channel, we had a nice move to the upside. Super bullish divergence. The algo is pretty much vertical. I think it's going to drag price action up. We're going to target previous high at 65.11, and then try to fill this gap back up to the $66, $67 level. ton of block trades coming in. I don't want to look at that many. I only want to look at probably like the last 5 days. So we're currently, I don't know if you can see the two clearly defined regular block trade zones. So we've got regular block trades that range from 63 to about 64. That's going to be your support. We're going to target this previous mid, right? This previous little mid area here at 65. Is that 66? 65.30. So that's going to be target 1. We're going to target there. And then we've got a dark pool level. It's going to be a magnet at 66.29. So there's target 2. And then this other regular block trade level. So you see how it kind of created a range? So off of support, on the way up, we taking basically this move here, right? Off of support, take profit on the move to the upside. Okay. ATVI is currently pulled back, rallied up, got above the 50-day SMA, and it pulled back using it as support. Currently trading at the 21-day EMA with a rising exponential moving average. Is this going to be the run into earnings that's coming up at the beginning of next month? Very possibly. So we would need to get through kind of this big giant bar right here. I would be targeting probably previous lows at 70, 75, 80. The only thing I'm not super bullish on is the fact that the histogram is neutral and decreasing. Radiant Fire is starting to pull back a little bit. If we can maintain the 50, 21, 50 SMA, 21 EMA, right? Get a little bounce play. Could be a possible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? A little potential Elliott wave move here, like this. Possibly go like something like that, maybe. ATVI, oh, sorry, their ATR in this is about $2 a day, so it's not a big mover. A little cup and handle on the daily, pull back to the 20, or pulled back to the 50. This point of control at 66.50 is going to be, or 66.87 is going to be a magnet. If it can hold this daily cloud and pull back up and make the move back up to the 200 SMA, that's the move we want to target. Contrarian, if it rejects this, then it's going to come back down and test 56.50. So the downside target is 56.50. Upside would be, let's see, we can probably get a little bit, yeah. I'll show you what that move looks like there, right? So we rallied up through the weekly, 4-hour, daily, up to the 4-hour top, rejected, came through the daily, and we back down to the 4-hour. We're using the weekly cloud as support. If this 66 or 63.37 level breaks, then we need to target the daily bottom, monthly mid, bottom of the Keltner channel cloud at 61.50, 60 to 61.50. So if we break 63.50, 61.50, $60 or 61 downside target. If we get back up into the 4-hour and pull up into here, then we can target the 4-hour mid at 65. Right, daily cloud at 67, and then finally at $68 level. Okay, one last look on it. Right, uptrending, pulled back at the beginning of the year. The rising 200 SMA is down here at 62.50. Right, 62.50. Right, 62.50. Do we come back down and touch that and bounce? So there's upside and a downside for you. Adobe. So Adobe's been selling off pretty bad. It's definitely been pulling back pretty hard. Up until this point, the algo was trading with price action, and we had a little bit of divergence that started about here. Okay. So the algo started making higher lows and higher highs. Price action started making lower lows and lower highs. Well, we've got a little bit of a reversal here, right? Two things. Could be inverse head and shoulders forming, or it could also be a little bit of a wedge breakout. So we've got lots of, looks like there's lots of resistance at this 520 level. I like the target of this 537, which is where, it gapped down. Also previous support right here, longer term previous support. So possibly the 540s, right? The algo is definitely doing a good job of making higher lows and higher highs. You can see here, kind of a little bit of a channel. Kind of a rising channel. It's got algo support, right? It's got a, hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing there, right? The algo's making higher lows and higher highs, just broke through previous highs, pulled back, used it as support, wedge forming, looking for that breakout of, right? Breakout of this previous support level. Just give me right there. Okay, from a block trade perspective, bringing it back down to the last three. All right, so we've got dark pool support at 510.70, right? We've got regular block trade overhead resistance at 514.43. I know my lines are jacked up right now. So above 514.50, we make the move to 520 and then 525, which is another dark bull target. I think that's a pretty decent move. If you wanted to target the longer term swing at 537, so 535, definitely be able to do that. Adobe on our charts looks like this. Okay, so currently, all right, Adobe, $27 ATR. What happens when you pull back through the 200 and back test it and don't break through it? You come back down to the downside. So we're trading down here in some previous, this previous overhead resistance where it made a new all-time high, right? So if we find support here, then we want to revert to the 21 EMA at that 572, potential low at 540. So the 540 move would be a bounce up to this level here, right? Looking at Adobe again below the 200, so very negatively stacked. We're looking to try to catch the reversal, so we need a few more candles of confirmation. If we can't get back up into the 4-hour color channel, the daily, the weekly, then we're going to have to look at the downside move, and that downside move could be as low as 500, below 500, 480. All right, that's Adobe, and then finally Uber. All right. Finally, Uber. This is that strong bullish divergence that we like to see. All right. Higher lows, higher highs. Wedge breakout. The algo is definitely diverged to this level here, right? Divergence at that level. So the algo is diverged at the $43 level, higher lows, higher highs. Looking to make this wedge breakout on Uber. Tons of block trades on Uber, just a massive amount, right? So lots of retail investment. So if dark pool 4151 holds and we get above 4166, so 4151 is regular dark pool level. 4166 is a regular block trade level. We have a white line where a dark pool and a regular block trade have printed on top of each other at 42, 4220, right? Above 4220, we can target this 43, 4350 area on Uber. I like Uber. I think it's setting up for a pretty good reversal. I know that I looked at it the other day. Someone was asking about a Wu-Tang reversal. I was like, it could very possibly be one. This move here, 1, 2, 3, move to the upside. So we're trading above the 50. We rejected the 200. We pull back to the 50, 21 for support. Pretty decent support. Histogram is neutral and decreasing. Our ready and fires pulling back. So we could consolidate here, right? And set up for that move for another attempt at breaking above the 200 SMA. So above 46.45. Pretty bullish still. If we break below the 50, which is at 41, we'll just call it 4150, below 4150, let's just, below 41, we move back down to the downside, targeting 40, and then a whole number on the way back down besides that. Right, so above the 50 support, we're trying to really break through this. We're holding the daily cloud. We've got point of control at 45. So if this 4-hour counter channel holds, we can target the 4-hour mid at 43, the daily top at 44, and the 4-hour top at 45, right? This is the 4-hour chart. So it could be a quick little move that way. If we break down below 41, then we're going to come back down to the daily bottom at 38. So it would be one like this kind of a move. If we break below the 4-hour, then we come back down and test this level here. Okay. If we can maintain this level of support, the 50, then we can try to overtake, right, that move there. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, make sure you hit me up in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that like button. It really does, well, click the like button. It really does help us out with the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, turn on subscriptions. Join us at darkpoolcharts.com. Hit us up in the chat. If you have any questions, though, definitely leave a comment. I'll try to get to them as soon as possible. Thanks. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the stream.